This is the Easy Betting Show. My name is Easy, and we're talking about Week 3 NFL Sunday night picks for tonight. It's going to be a short episode here. I'm just going to do the Sunday night game tonight. I'll be doing the Monday night games, which there are two of this week. So I'm going to do those separately tomorrow morning just to split it up a little bit and just to make this a short one because we have football today and it's early. And so I'm just going to do the one game. So with that being said, I'm going to get right into the Sunday night football picks. I have a few player props, and then I also have my touchdowns and my first touchdowns as well, like always on these shows. First one that I'm going to go into is Carson Steele over 45.5 rushing yards. That's minus 110, 1.1 unit on that one. He should be the primary back this week. Obviously, Pacheco's not playing. He messed up his leg pretty bad in the last game that they played. Carson Steele was getting the bulk of the runs behind him. So it seems like he's definitely going to be the primary back in this game. Samaje Perine is going to take a few snaps from him as the kind of new Carson Steele in the situation. But Carson Steele should definitely see the bulk of the runs. And 45.5 is just too low, in my opinion, for the primary back, especially against the Falcons defense. So with the injury, I think Carson Steele easily clears this. Next one I'm going over is Kyle Pitts over 38.5 receiving yards. That's minus 110, 1.1 unit on that one. I hate betting on Kyle Pitts, and probably for good reason because he's not been very good pretty much in his career. And what he's known for is letting people down. But I think he has a great matchup in this one. Tight ends have been the leading receiver in both games against the Chiefs so far this season. Gesicki last week had almost 100 yards, and then the week prior to that, Isaiah Likely had 111 yards. So the Chiefs, for whatever reason, just aren't guarding tight ends. And obviously Kyle Pitts isn't Isaiah Likely or Mike Gesicki, but I think this is just a prime spot for him to get to 40. Do I think he's going to get to 100 like the other two guys? No, I don't. But I think he can get to 40. So I am cautiously betting this, but I do really like Pitts in this game. And then the last player prop that I have for this one is Xavier Worthy, longest reception over 18.5 yards. That's minus 120. I'm going to put 1.2 units on that one. The Falcons have given up a longer pass than 19 in both of their games so far. And Xavier Worthy wasn't used much in last week's game against the Bengals, but he went off in week 1. And I think he has a much higher chance of being the week 1 Xavier Worthy than he does of being last week's Xavier Worthy. Also, with Pacheco out, the run game might not be as stout as it typically is. So they might not go to the run game as much and might try to fire down the field more often, which could lead to Xavier Worthy having a lot more production. On top of that, with the run game being weak, they could have, more bubble screens and the end around little push pass type shit, which would be Xavier Worthy's as well, that he could get a long pass on as well. If you don't like his longest reception or don't like playing longest reception bets as much as I do, you can always take his yards too. I just think his longest reception is a little bit safer because I don't see him having 5-6 receptions, although he could. I don't see it. But the receptions that he is going to get, I think he could easily break for 19 plus yards. I'm going to get into the touchdowns now. I have 3 of those as well. The first one you can probably guess is Carson Steele, plus 130. So 1 unit on that. To get plus money on a starting running back in a game like this is always great, especially in prime time. So definitely taking that. And I just like him to score. I'm also going to sprinkle his 2+ touchdowns. I believe it was plus 750. So I'm going to sprinkle that as well. I just think he has a good game today. He runs really hard. He's an aggressive dude. He fumbled last week. So he's probably going to be very careful with the ball because if he does it 2 weeks in a row, that's, for an undrafted free agent, that's pretty much a career killer. So yeah, I think he has a good game. The next one I'm going to do is Xavier Worthy, plus 175, 1 unit on that as well. Pretty much for the same reasons I like his longest reception, but on top of that, you could also potentially have him in the run game a couple times. And then I do think he gets his work done in the passing game as well. The last one is Darnell Mooney plus 320 for half a unit. I like Kyle Pitts as well, but I just can't bring myself to bet Kyle Pitts multiple times. And I think Darnell Mooney might be the better touchdown guy, even though I think Pitts is going to get his yardage. Darnell Mooney seems to be kind of the touchdown guy for Kirk Cousins, at least ish. He did have a touchdown last week that kind of kept them in the game, even though it was a deep pass. Darnell Mooney could get a bomb for a touchdown, but he could also get, red zone work or things like that as well. So I think there's a few options for Darnell Mooney to score here, and with great odds on him, I feel like it's just another bet that you have to take. And then the last thing that I'm going to go over, as I always do, is the first touchdowns for this game. I'm 2 in a row now. We hit on Thursday night. We hit last Monday night. Hopefully I can make it 3 in a row here. Great odds on this one. But as always, I have 4 guys, 2 on each team. I'm putting a quarter unit on all of them. First one is Xavier Worthy plus 1,000. I've already talked about him. And then the other chief that I'm going to do is Noah Gray plus 3,100. They like going to him in prime time for whatever reason. I guess it's because, Travis Kelce kind of gets swamped, especially in the red zone. So it leaves Noah Gray open often, especially in these 2 tight end looks that they love doing inside the 10. So because of that, with just the great odds, I do think Noah Gray is a decent choice. And for the Kelce love, I do not have Kelce love in this one. He hasn't really looked great to start the season. They're not going to him very much. And he also is hit or miss in primetime games. There's some primetime games where he'll go for 150 and 2 touchdowns, and then there's some where he'll get like 2 catches for 14 yards. So I typically just try to stay away from him in primetime games, and it either does well for me or it screws me. But either way, I'm happy with it because I didn't get, shot by him. So I'm just going to stay off of him. But I do like Noah Gray in the red zone for the first touchdown in this one. I hit on him a couple of times in past seasons. So hopefully we can get the first Noah Gray of the year on that as well. And then for the Falcons, the 2 guys that I like on that for first touchdown is Darnell Mooney plus 1,900. I've already talked about him. And Kyle Pitts plus 1,400. Again, it makes me nervous because it's Kyle Pitts. But that being said, I think he's got a great chance today. I think he's got a good matchup. And there's a very good chance that he can get in the end zone early. So that'll do it for me on this one. Like I said, a very short one. I will be doing the Monday Night Football games tomorrow morning, so make sure you check that one out as well. Make sure you give the video a like for me if you could. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you on the next one.